Hey, good morning, everyone. Just want to make sure again people can hear me. This is Larry Brown. Just going to start our briefing for the Monday morning. You can see, just going to show you the radar here right now. We did have some heavier rain earlier over the last couple of hours down here. We had locally near 2 inches of rain. Some of these showers have moved up. You can see they're moving off to the north now. As we go through the day today, let's see here. You can see, so this is one of the models we look at, and just looking at how this is kind of right now around 11 a.m. here, showing the depiction of the radar. This was from earlier. You can see the heavier stuff down by Richmond. See that moving up, but you can see that stuff is expected to redevelop as we go through the afternoon, especially after about 3 o'clock or so, and then into the evening, and then it diminishes overnight. We are in a, I'll just quickly show the risk for today. We are in a slight risk for today. The timing, as we say, sort of later afternoon into the evening. A slight risk, meaning level 2 over about 5, and this is mainly for wind as well as large hail being possible this afternoon. You see a little bit less of a risk you get right along the immediate coast and the eastern shore, but everybody is in generally some kind of a risk today. So just looking at the highlights for this week, most of the weather is going to be today, unsettled with scattered numerous showers and thunderstorms through this evening, slight risk of severe weather, scattered strong to severe storms possible. By tomorrow, you'll see that front in the second image here is kind of shifting off the coast. So we have a few showers and storms possible tomorrow, but not nearly with the coverage of what we're expected today. So we're not in any risk for severe tomorrow. Then see high pressure kind of briefly builds on with the front well off to our south by Wednesday. So looking dry Wednesday and dry to start Thursday. And then we have another cold front coming in from the northwest. So we do have some showers and storms possible late Thursday and then into Friday, lingering into Friday and potentially the weekend as well. Just to reiterate today, it's hail and wind as the primary threats from mid-afternoon through the evening, especially just inland from the coast, but also, still at least a marginal risk for, east of Norfolk to Virginia Beach and up into the eastern shore as well. This is highlighting just the slight risk today. You can see this is for the damaging winds and the hail, both of those being the main threat. There's no tornado threat today. And just looking at the daily storm potential as far as severe, this is today. Then tomorrow you can see we're in a general thunderstorm risk, but nothing slated to be severe tomorrow, and then dry with no storms expected Wednesday. Total rainfall, obviously quite variable with the thunderstorm regime, but you can see generally not really that high amounts. Highest down in North Carolina here. This is through Thursday morning. You can see generally most areas in the half inch or less range, but locally higher with thunderstorms as they. The variability is very large with thunderstorms. As you see here, the potential for the chances of rain, you can see today the highest, and then you can see a little bit in tonight, and then rather low tomorrow, a little bit more towards the coast and the eastern shore with chances into the afternoon, but most places generally 20% or less tomorrow, and then really no chance on Wednesday. And just looking at total rainfall amounts, again, this is aerial average, so you can see that, through Wednesday, through Thursday morning here, generally less than a half inch in most places, but obviously locally much higher in the thunderstorms. And then kind of the same deal for Thursday through Sunday as we'll have those storms redeveloping, becoming maybe more unsettled once again as we get into especially late Thursday and then into Friday and Saturday. So here's the total precipitation aerial average wise for the next 7 days. Again, not particularly high, but locally much higher in thunderstorms. Just looking at the temperatures here, generally kind of seasonably warm for early May here for most of the week. It does potentially look quite a bit cooler behind that front Thursday and into Friday and Saturday, where we could be, that would be below normal temperature wise, especially at least for high temperatures on Friday into Saturday, and then a little bit more uncertain, but maybe trending back closer to normal as we get into the end of the weekend. Same thing with lows, potentially some lows into the 40s. As we get into Friday through Sunday morning in many areas inland, which is 5 to 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. Now you can see the general trend for the precipitation chances pretty dry through midweek, and then the precip chances increasing again as we get late Thursday and then into Friday. So looking ahead into next week, just sort of a broad brush view of what we're expecting. Normals are now, as we get into this, is really covering mid-May at this point. Looking at normal highs generally in the mid to upper 70s across the region, lows generally ranging through the 50s, upper 50s in the south, and low to mid 50s across the north. We're expecting a little bit more above normal chances as we go into next week for temperature, and generally pretty close to normal, not really highlighting too much, maybe a little above normal along the coast to the south and then below to our north, but kind of averages out for most of our area. I would just call it near normal as we look into precip chances next week. Just real quick on the marine, we do have a small craft out in North Carolina coastal waters right now for 5 to 6 foot seas, but that should be going away. So generally the risk is pretty limited as we go the next couple of days with relatively light winds tomorrow and Wednesday especially. Then as we get into later Thursday behind that cold front, you can see the chances go back up into decent chances for small craft as we get late in the week. Kind of the same for just showing the detail of the peak winds. Maximum gusts generally pretty light through Thursday, kind of a little bit higher this morning across the coast, diminishing by tomorrow for most areas, maybe a little windier across the north, and then sub-small craft Wednesday and Thursday. And this just showing more detail again about the max wind and wind gust forecast. Again, kind of you can show through the weekend that the winds do come back up as we get into Friday, into Saturday, potentially with the north wind. With that high to our north, cold front pushed south of the area in a kind of an increased gradient of northerly wind. So small crafts are, pretty good chance as we get Friday into Saturday. And these are the peak waves just through the next 3 days. You can see generally it was higher down here initially, but this is for the next days after this morning, kind of just looking at 1 to 2 feet in the bay and rivers and around 4 feet in the ocean most places. So that's all I have with the briefing, just kind of reiterating today is really the busy day with that slight risk for severe across much of the area and marginal risk towards the immediate coast. Relatively quiet and seasonable temperatures and drying out Tuesday, Wednesday into at least midday Thursday, and then we get the next chance with that next front, showers and a few storms coming back down from the north. And we're too early to really speculate on much severe chance at this point. It wouldn't look like a whole lot of a severe chance, but perhaps Thursday afternoon, Thursday night would have some potential. And after that, it looks cooler and more likely to just be showers as we go Friday into the weekend. So that's all I have at this point. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'll just hold on here and wait for any questions.